Crying on demand, not an easy task unless you are an emotional prostitute hired by the local funeral home as a professional mourners. Perhaps, picture this. The hearse pulls up to the curb. Black suits blend into the sombre procession. It's a funeral, yes, but not just any funeral. Among the mourners, a few stand out, their grief palpable, almost theatrical. They are the pros, the paid mourners, here to elevate the sorrow to an art form. These aren't actors, not exactly. They are masters of manufactured emotion, conjuring tears and lamentations like summoning spirits. They wail, they sob, they clutch handkerchiefs, embodying the collective grief of the bereaved family. But behind the veil of manufactured mourning lies a fascinating, if slightly unsettling, truth. These individuals are paid to grieve, to fill the pews and amplify the sense of loss. It's a job, a peculiar one, certainly, but a job nonetheless. And like any other job, these professional mourners approach their task with a strange mix of detachment and dedication. After all, someone's got to cry. Might as well be the person getting paid for it. We have a saying in the funeral industry that goes, once the tears dry up, the money dries up. What does it take to be a professional mourner whose tears never dry up? A high tolerance for sadness? A penchant for the dramatic? Surprisingly, the ideal candidate might be that one or two old persons you see at everyone's funeral. Professional mourning requires a specific skill set. A somber demeanor is a must, as is the ability to cry on cue. A good set of lungs helps too, as wailing and lamenting are often part of the job description. Some mourners even develop backstories, crafting elaborate tales of their fictitious relationship to the deceased. This adds a layer of authenticity, blurring the line between performance and genuine grief. While it might seem like easy money, professional mourning is not for the faint of heart. The work is emotionally taxing, requiring mourners to tap into their own experiences with loss and grief. It's a delicate dance, balancing empathy with detachment, professionalism with genuine emotion for a larger paycheck. Believe it or not, the concept of professional mourning isn't new. It dates back centuries, appearing in various forms across cultures. In ancient Egypt, the Egyptian mourners were hired to amplify the grief at funerals, their wails and lamentations intended to appease the gods. In some cultures, professional mourners, often women, played a central role in funeral rituals. They sang, recited laments, and guided the bereaved through the 5 steps grieving process made famous by Kubler-Ross in her book Death and Dying. These women were seen as spiritual guides, their presence essential for a proper send-off. Over time, the role of the professional mourner evolved. In Victorian England, mourners of fortune advertised their services in newspapers, offering to lend an air of solemnity to any funeral. Today, while the practice persists, it's often shrouded in secrecy, a taboo topic whispered about but rarely discussed openly. It's not about faking it, says Sarah, a professional mourner based in the American South. It's about honoring the deceased, giving them the send-off they deserve. Sarah stumbled into the profession after attending a funeral where the family seemed emotionally detached. I felt bad for them, she says. They deserve to have someone truly grieve for their loved one. For Sarah, the key to professional mourning is empathy. She spends time researching the deceased, learning about their life, their passions, their quirks. I try to connect with them on a human level, she explains. Once I do that, the tears come naturally. Sarah acknowledges the ethical concerns surrounding her profession, but insists that her intentions are pure. It's not about the money, she says, it's about providing a service, offering comfort to those in need. The practice of professional mourning raises ethical questions. Is it right to profit from grief? Critics argue it's exploitative, preying on grieving families. Proponents see it as a way to enhance funeral services. Ultimately, the choice rests with the bereaved family.